Do you want to be in the video? Every time I get on the computer. No other time of day will she cuddle with me. I get on the computer. It's immediate. It's because I'm distracted. You're very sweet though, love. I see you. Alright. What's up, folks? I'm Odd, by the way, and welcome to kind of a silly thing that I wanted to do. Obviously, you've probably seen Tomodachi Life all over your timeline, and I apologize if you're not into it. You'll probably be seeing a lot more of it, at least from me. I got into the 3DS game relatively late. I think I did a video where I played with some of the functionality of that to make art. And this game, of course, has the way more robust character creator system that allows you to make a range of characters, mostly furries. My island is literally all furries. I called it Moreau because I knew that the population would be 99.9% animals, which is fun. I do think that the original was kind of like intended to be like, oh, you know, you make me's on your system or whatever between your friends and your family, people you know, maybe a few celebrities that you would put in your friend island. The translation is friend life, apparently. They expected them to be all like non-fictional humans, I think, was the idea. But now you've got like people that were under that impression initially who then got bored or wanted more me's on their island. And now, like, their last living effigy of their grandma is dating Bruce Wayne, Batman, in their Tomodachi Life save. And I, frankly, think that's beautiful. And it's still possible in this game, but what is also possible in this game is making furry characters. And I've definitely put a number of my own OCs in there. I actually put my character Velvet that I made for this channel in a video initially, and she's currently married to my other OC Doodle. So things are going great. But beside that, I did start making some characters that were unique to my Tomodachi Life Island and that I want to draw. Partially also so I can get used to, I think, doing some like character drawings, even if it's still my own design. For the potential of doing commissions. I feel like I need a good range of examples for that. I will introduce you to my stock. There are 6 in all, technically 8, although the other 2 that I made are just anthro versions of Sherlock Holmes and Watson, and I don't know if that's necessarily like enough to be considered an original character, but yes. So we are going to be working with these 6, whom are all pretty original characters. Starting out, when I got to the food, like when I got to the end, basically the end of the tutorial, where they introduce you to the concept of the pallet house, I made the cake like ice strain inspired, and then my immediate first thought after that was, well, I have to make a Sparkle Dog character. So we have Princess Destiny, the wolf dog with purple fur and a star on her head and multicolored hair with her nice, like, Hot Topic Tumblerine outfit going on. I absolutely adore her. It is funny because she immediately fell for this guy. Who I made mainly just to be silly, and also, like, he is incredibly endearing to me, as it always turns out, right? I kind of love them together. They haven't gotten married yet, but if/when they do, they're gonna have the weirdest babies. And I'm excited for that. And this was one of 2 out of 3 confessions that Nori interrupted, by the way. Which was hilarious. I swear she just does it for the bit. She has no prior interest, and she's always rejected. It's just for the love of the game for her. She just wants to mess with people. Maybe it's a litmus test. Maybe she's looking out for her friends. I don't know. I think that she's just a hellion, and I kind of love it. How did they get my girl? She's just there. And then we have... the next one is... actually, I don't know. Sigil, that's right. My goth zebra. / punk, I guess, really. They are just a cool zebra with a cool facial design that I thought looked interesting. They've got kind of like the Kiss metalhead vibe going on with their stripes, so I thought that was super cool. They actually had kind of a kawaii phase, which was interesting, and they are currently dating a werewolf, who is technically another original character on the island that I felt like wasn't quite original enough to this definition. But I don't know, maybe I'll do a secondary video where I explore that. And then I believe this is the cheetah Serene, who I don't have much on. I don't have a lot on all these characters, but the idea was that she was just kind of like made in a pair with Serene or with Sigil, and they don't actually get along, which is kind of funny too. Like, I think I made her with the intention that it's like, oh yeah, she's very active. She's, what is it, ambitious visionary, which to me means anxious all the time. And I think that that's definitely her thing. Like many cheetahs, she is very high maintenance and very anxious. And then we have, this is Molly. Yes. Molly is actually an old favorite from my original island. I tried my hardest to make some furries on that island. It worked out to variable degrees of success. Molly, her name was just Cow before, actually it was something else, but I don't remember what it was. She had the nickname Cow. People just called, because she was initially a Chinese zodiac inspired character, and I made her a Highland cow with this cute little bang situation. And you can see that I basically did the same thing that I did with her in the original, which was that I moved up her eyebrows to become horns. I actually didn't give her ears, but it kind of suits her overall. I think if I were to draw her, I'm going to draw her with ears, obviously, in my regular style, but it works pretty well with this as it is. You can tell very well that she's a cow. And I've been learning some things about her because she's not like a very particularly fleshed out character. A lot of these aren't. And that's part of the reason that I wanted to draw them. And before I get too into that, I will get my last character up here, who is Duke. I haven't gotten a lot of time with him to figure out what to dress him as. My main idea was to make this like ethereal, elven, beautiful deer boy who's just an absolute idiot. I wanted him to be like a surfer guy, almost, maybe. Nothing going on between those eyes. I mean, look at him. Look at him. His big special eyes. That was another thing, the thinking of the, what, 1-800-CONTACTS commercial? I have special eyes. That's him. So maybe he's a little overdramatic too. But that is my range of 6 characters. I am thinking that I will probably definitely be doing Des. Did I mention her name? Her name is Princess Destiny. Everyone just calls her Des. So I think I'm definitely going to give a bigger design to Des. I think I'm going to do Molly because I have an idea for her now that I will get into. And I'm not sure. Maybe Duke. I think that I will probably do Duke and say that those will be my 3 characters for this video. But at that, I will stop the intro here, and I will move you guys over to Speedfan Voiceover, where I will talk a little bit more at length about these characters, and maybe more of what I found out about them as I was drawing them, which is also a big thing, because these characters are kind of one-dimensional, kind of just designed for the hell of it, and I want to give them more space in my mind palace to grow. So I will pop this over to Speedpan Voiceover, and I will meet you guys there. Starting off with a bust for Des. I wanted something that looked a bit like a very MySpace era selfie, given her inspiration. She isn't quite what I would describe as that era's scene, maybe a bit more modern in some aspects, but still kind of a facsimile of it. I spent a good hour or so trying to sketch out one approach, but when I got to lining it, I was just struck with how much I did not like it, so I wound up starting completely over. Funnily enough, once I did, it took me a much shorter period of time to get to where I wanted to. I made the star on her forehead a bit bigger here, and for the first time I had to figure out some of the details I'd want on her body below her head. To keep the star motif up, I had a little star-shaped ruff of her fur sticking out of her layered shirt. And of course, arm warmers. Can't forget those. Up until this point, I hadn't really noticed the exact color scheme I had given her beyond the purple base was very close to trans flag colors. Initially, I thought, oh, she can have bi-nails, and she probably still could, because the purple is very present, but she is much more overall trans flag colored. And hey, I mean, ¿por qué no las dos? Des might come off as a bit chunibyo in some circumstances, but has genuinely experienced some crazy stuff in her time. Her parents actually are a wolf dragon and a magic dog, and she is, or at least was, a princess. She comes from another dimension where the power scaling is off the charts and stuff like that is commonplace. She loves the simplicity of the daily life in the universe she's wound up in, which she was sent to for her own protection. She's kind of a kooky Cloudland type, unaware of the world around her, acting just a little off-kilter in a lot of situations, but she is also incredibly charming. Most people don't believe her stories of her old life, except for her current boyfriend. She is obsessed with how normal he is. It's super refreshing. She also loves a good escapism story, especially a very pulpy romance or fanfiction, because it does remind her of home. Next up, we have a full body piece, or at least 3/4, for Molly. I think that I already mentioned Molly is a holdover from my 3DS Island. I actually had to look up whether or not female Highland cows could have horns, because I'd always seen pictures of them with horns. It seems as though they do. Not that I would protest to another accidental trans character, but it would be a funny 2-nickel situation. I wanted a nice little scene of her standing in a windy field. I experimented quite a bit with this piece, lighting and background elements, playing with the effects tools to give her a little basket of herbs. Part of the reason I wanted to do this is because I feel like a lot of the art I've been making for the channel has been very conceptual, which is perfectly fine, but I feel like the art a person commissioning might want is a bit more polished than that. It also gives me the opportunity to figure out the time that goes into each of these types of pieces for pricing potential. This one was about 4 hours worth of work, where Des's bust was around 2, at least on the second pass. Molly is a bit of a witchy type. She has an avid interest in plants and their uses, becoming a sort of apothecary in her own right. She's keen on foraging and gardening and has a deep respect for nature. Personality-wise, she can seem a little aloof or distant, which some mistake for her being unintelligent, but she's just in her own head a lot. Nonetheless, she loves helping people and has found that magic lays more in a gentle listener than any elixir. think I initially said I'd intended to draw Duke, but honestly, as he is, he's kind of just a deer, so I wasn't really feeling drawing him. Instead, I opted for the punk zebra Sigil. This was probably the fastest of the three, a sort of name badge or headshot kind of thing. I added a bit more detail to their face from the original version. Usually, it seems, zebras' markings kind of radiate away from their eyes, not really covering them, so it made me think that Sigil does in fact add some graphic liner to maybe connect some of their stripes. I also added in a nose ring. I have a hard time trying to signify piercings on the Miis in the editor, so I usually just go for more simplistic interpretations. That just makes the more in-depth depictions of them that much more fun, though. Sigil is a paragon of self-expression. Even though they love their stripes and chose to emphasize them for their gothic aesthetic, it wasn't really appreciated among their family, so they set out to find their own path. Among non-zebra, they are already very striking, and their personality makes them a bit intimidating to deal with, but they are generally a pretty chill person once you get to know them. They're actually dating the werewolf character I made in-game, but I don't know how to fold that in quite yet. But they are both they-them non-binary, so that is fun. But those are my drawings for this week. I've obviously been a little sidetracked by this game, but it's kind of a great way to refine what I like in self-expression just for my own enjoyment. And of course, it's fun to share a little bit of that too. I love the degree of artistic expression this game has introduced to everyone playing it, even and especially for the silliness of it all. Let me know if you'd like to see more of this, along with any other art challenges you'd like to see me do in the future. At that though, I'll leave this here, and I will see y'all next time.